going to be spending a lot more time with you, but I do want to just get to one other topic because we talk about it every day. Bitcoin.
It is out of control. Like, look, let's
talk Bitcoin?
Let's talk Bitcoin. 2012, I was introduced to it. I started to accumulate. 2013, I wrote an article. And
so hold on, just so we know and can feel bad about ourselves, you're accumulating it at what price?
Well, my dollar cost average is around 100 and something.
And you've held it, everything you've bought?
Well, at one point, myself and, so I was introduced to it by a person. I asked him if I could disclose his name. He said no. But he, myself, and another person, all three of us relatively well known in the Valley, we started, at one point, we owned almost 5% of the entire float in 2013. We've sold, they've sold, et cetera, et cetera. I wish we had kept it all. We didn't. It's fine. But then I wrote an article, and I said, you know what? There's so much asymmetric upside here. This is a thing that either goes to, at the time I said, roughly the value of gold. And at the time, it was about $100 a coin. And so there's very little downside. There's all this asymmetric upside. I said, take 1% of your net worth and buy this schmuck insurance. And it's a schmuck insurance in this kind of very elegant, beautiful way.
I missed the schmuck insurance.
That was at $100, though. What would you, I actually started hearing from people that I know very well who don't often invest, who are now asking me if this is the time to invest.
Buy the schmuck insurance now.
Here's the thing. This is now a confidence game, right? There is no real utility in this. This is a fantastic, fundamental hedge and store of value against autocratic regimes and banking infrastructure that we know is corrosive to how the world needs to work properly. You cannot have central banks infinitely printing currency. You cannot have folks with, misguided and misdirected monetary and fiscal policy.
We've done okay.
You just called it a confidence game, which is a con game.
And we've done okay.
It's a con
the economy is built on central banks and built on fiat currencies, where you said yourself how much better life is in every respect than it's ever been, and that's with that as a infrastructure.
So we've seen the first few chapters of this, and now we have to go through this great unwind, right? When all this liquidity now, what happens?
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. And so all I'm saying is to have the ability to hedge that out in a way that isn't fundamentally correlated to the people and the infrastructure that made those decisions that we were not a part of fundamentally, I think is a smart thing.
But the point is, if you haven't jumped on this bus or train or whatever vehicle you want to describe it as, has it left the station?
No. So here's what I would say. The same way that I said in 2013, put 1% of your net worth into Bitcoin, I will put myself out there today. I think this thing is $100,000 a coin, probably in the next 3 to 4 years. And I think it is, in the next 20 years, $1 million a coin. So there you have it.
You're telling people to put 1% of your net worth.
At the time.
That's for...
It's a lot harder.
But that's for people who have money to play with. I mean, if you're talking to an average retail investor who's looking at this, somebody who's trying to figure out, should I put it in my 401k or should I put it in Bitcoin, you would tell them what?
Well, I don't think that's the actual trade-off. In your 401k, so for example, in your IRA...
Chamath, I'm saying that there are people who have to make decisions about these things who aren't fully invested in the 401k.
So what I'm saying is I own a lot of Bitcoin in my IRA. It is possible. So I did take a small percentage and I put it in there. All I'm saying is there's a small percentage of everyone's net worth. God bless him to do it in the most
tax-advantaged way.
Absolutely.
But you have money to play with.
No, but what I'm saying is you could buy the S&P 500 index, buy 99% of that. So if you have $100 to invest, what I'm saying is...
Put $1.
Put $1. And the reason that $1 is so valuable is that it is fundamentally not correlated to the other 99. And just on the off chance that all the people that manage the 99 may not totally know what they're doing, the $1 may actually save us all.
Okay. Do you have any anxiety that its current rise is correlated to a market bubble, meaning that it reflects that there's just too much money sloshing around, and people have so much money that they're looking for these sort of any opportunity in a way that they might not have 2 and 3 and 4 years ago?
I think bubbles happen when there's a scale of importance. And I think it's very unfair to look at a market that's still measured in the few tens of billions of dollars and call it A, a market to begin with, and then B, that there's a speculative bubble. Maybe that can happen from time to time at such small scale. I think what's more likely is that there's just an overwhelming number of people who literally don't even know what Bitcoin is.
Right.
And then there's a very, very small number of people who are at the periphery looky-looing, having opinions, but have never even bothered to read the definitions.
That's a good phrase.
You know, have never bothered to open in a wallet, have never bothered to even read the Wikipedia article, but they want to correlate it to a framework they understand because it's safe. And what I would say is, I would suspend disbelief, which is what I did in 2012. It took me 18 months to understand. And I'm reasonably technical. And so what I would say is other people, if they took the time, may come to a very different conclusion than what is the obvious negative Nelly conclusion.
I think it would be really elegant if the bubble itself helped create the answer to what caused the bubble. In other words, the central bank
Bubble.
I completely agree with you.
That would be a real, in the way the universe works, that would be interesting.
Because then you'd really see whether the emperor had clothes or did not.
See, there is a bubble from all the money sloshing around.
That's the real bubble.
Bitcoin is the answer to the profligate moves.
Hold on. I thought the market